Hello, fellow Murdlers. Today is Friday, May 17th, 2024, and it's a great day to solve a murder. Today, we have the mystery of the small hole, and we have 3 5x5 grids with suspects, locations, and weapons. Our red murder clue today is a climbing axe was clearly used to commit the crime. So we can go ahead and say that for our how, we have a climbing axe, and then we will be tasked with figuring out who had the climbing axe and where the crime was committed. So let's go ahead and meet our suspects for today. We have Lady Violet, the Duchess of Vermilion, Captain Slate, Judge Pine, and Chancellor Tuscany. The weapons today are poisoned tea, a pair of gardening shears, a climbing axe, and of course that is our murder weapon today, a venomous spider, and Myrtle Volume 2. And the locations today are the Old Pine, a high-end tent, the Party Lake, the entrance gates, and the hot springs spa. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our clues and evidence. So we're going to start out with a fingerprint on a venomous spider, which is kind of funny. Okay, so we've got this little loop thingy, and I know that is Lady Violet. Yes, there's Lady Violet. That's her fingerprint. So Lady Violet must have had the venomous spider. All right. Forensics determined a weapon made at least partially out of a live animal was present in a high-end tent. So I think that's also this spider, but let's check the others and make sure there aren't any other weapons. We've got paper, clay, leaves and toxins, metal and wood, and we're back at live animals. So we also know Lady Violet's location must have been the high-end tent, and so we can fill that out here and here for her. All right. A rusted iron screw was seen indoors. I believe that has to do with the gardening shears. Yes, can be identified by a rusted iron screw left behind. So let's check out the locations and figure out which ones were in... Wait, let me double check. I think it was indoors. Yeah, indoors. Okay, so we have outdoors, indoors, but of course we know it wasn't there. Outdoors, outdoors, indoors, and we're back at outdoors. So since there are only 2 outdoor locations, the high-end tent and the hot spring spa, the other locations are all outdoors, and we know the weapon at the high-end tent was the venomous spider with Lady Violet. We can go ahead and say that the gardening shears were in the hot spring spa. Now we don't know who had them yet, so we don't want to put anything here under suspects, but we will put them here in the weapons and locations grid for the hot spring spa and the gardening shears. All right, next we have an either or clue. Either Myrtle Volume 2 is at the entrance gate or Judge Pine is at the hot spring spa, but not both. And I think for this one we should come back to it. I think we'll have more information in a little bit that we'll be able to figure this one out better. So moving on, the tallest suspect was in love with the person who brought the poison tea. Okay, so again, don't go searching for any secret love affairs or anything like that. This is just saying that whomever is the tallest did not bring the poison tea. So let's figure out who the tallest person is. We have 5 feet tall, 5'9", 5'5", 5'6", 5'5", and back at 5 feet. So I think we're looking at 5'9", which I believe was that Duchess. Yeah, Duchess of Vermilion is 5'9", and she is the tallest at 5'9". So, right? Yeah. Okay, Duchess of Vermilion is the tallest at 5'9", and she did not bring the cup of poison tea. Captain Slate was seen indoors. Okay, so we know that Captain Slate must have been at the hot spring spa with the gardening shears, because again, there are only 2 indoor locations for today's puzzle, and we already know who was at one of them. So we can go ahead and mark that in here as well. Captain Slate was indoors at the hot spring spa. And here we go. Now we can come back here, and we know that Judge Pine was not at the hot spring spa because Captain Slate was. So we can say Myrtle Volume 2 must have been at the entrance gate. So we can put that there. Okay. We've got an anagram, and this is going to be Chancellor Tuscany was seen at the entrance gate. Okay. So Chancellor Tuscany, and Chancellor Tuscany must have had Myrtle Volume 2 because that's the weapon at the entrance gate, and we'll put that in here as well. Getting really close here. And actually we do have something for Judge Pine. Judge Pine must have brought the poison cup of tea. And, oh, here we go. We have the Duchess of Vermilion was our murderer today with the climbing axe, and that was because we were able to put the T with Judge Pine and not with the Duchess of Vermilion, and so that meant the only remaining weapon that the Duchess of Vermilion could have was the climbing axe, which is of course her murder weapon. So we have the Duchess of Vermilion with a climbing axe, but we don't yet know if she was at the Old Pine or at the party lake, so we'll keep going to figure that part out. Okay, the suspect who was at the party lake had brown eyes. Gray eyes, so we know she was not at the party lake. That means Judge Pine must have been at the party lake, and sure enough, brown eyes. And Duchess of Vermilion was at the Old Pine. So that is the solution, the Old Pine. And I'm just going to quickly put these two in. Yep, okay, great. So we have the Duchess of Vermilion with a climbing axe at the Old Pine. Let's go ahead and see if we were right. All right, we were right. Thanks so much for playing along with me today. I hope this was a helpful walkthrough, and we'll see you tomorrow.